unknown. Okay? Reish, head. You may have heard of Rosh Hashanah. Have you heard this holiday? It's a Jewish holiday. Rosh Hashanah is when the Jewish kids would get off and we wouldn't.
Yeah.
And they got Christmas too. It wasn't fair, but I'm not here to argue about that. Okay, so Reish is head, Shana is year, Rosh Hashanah, head of the year. It's the Jewish New Year. Okay? A Yod. Yod is the smallest Hebrew letter. It's the one that floats. It's up above the line. The ancient picture for a Yod is this. And it's a hand, right? You can see the elbow and the thumb sticking up. Hand. Next is a Vav. Vav, its ancient picture is that. It's a nail. Okay? Or a hook, a nail. It's also, Vav is also an upright man. Vav is the sixth letter of the alphabet. You know, man's number is 6. She was just talking a minute ago about Antichrist. He's going to be a very bad man, right? And his number is 666, okay? So there's your Vav. Upright man or nail. And this one is a noon. And the ancient picture for noon, there's the ancient picture for noon. You know what that looks like? Are we allowed to say sperm?
It's okay.
Okay. It looks like a sperm, and it has this little tail wiggling. By the way, remember that there were 5 Hebrew letters. There are 5 Hebrew letters that have 2 shapes to them. Do you remember? The final forms of the letters?
No, we didn't go over that.
Okay. In some of the videos that will explain that, but I'll just tell you quickly. Here's the letter noon, and here's the letter noon. They have 2 different shapes for the letter noon. Why? I don't know why. But in Hebrew, 5 letters have 2 shapes. If it's the first letter of the word, you use this noon. If it's in the middle of the word, you use this noon. If it's the final letter of the word, it takes on a different shape. Okay? And noon is one of those, and that's why this is a final noon here. Got it? Okay. Oh, by the way, you can hear the letters. You hear what sounds they make. The hey is the H, the soft H. The resh is the R. The yud would be like the I. The vav, a vav can make a V sound, but it can also make an O sound. So here's an O, and the noon makes an N sound. By the way, this sperm-shaped ancient Hebrew letter, this is why our letter N does this. You see the tail? The noon represents life. That's what its letter is. Okay? Remember, each letter has a meaning. The noon is life, and a fish's tail, it's got life, right? It's going up, down, up, down, up, down. That's why we have the letter N, like this, up, down, up. Right? So, this is noon, and its ancient picture right here. So, what is this word? Well, let's try to pronounce it. There's the hey, R, harion. Harion. That's easy enough. Okay? Your new Hebrew word for the day, harion. Now, any idea what it means? Harion means pregnancy. Conception. A woman is pregnant, right? Now, watch how cool God is. If we break it down into the letters, let's spell out the definition of harion. Behold, the head, the hand, the upright man, life. I don't know if anybody's been to a birth, but when a woman is about to have a child, like, oh, behold, There's the hand. There's the man. Life. So he weaves that into the word. That's pretty cool. And that a language can even do this. You know, some languages are phonetic. Some languages are picture-based. Hebrew is both. And they're familiar with gematria?
Oh, the numbers? No, we haven't done that yet.
Okay. Another level to this is every Hebrew letter has a number associated with it. Okay? The Hey is 5. It's the 5th letter, and its gematria is 5. Gematria is just a fancy name for geometry. Okay? A resh, its value is 200. The yod, its value is 10. A vav is 6, and the noon is 50. We good? The word harion, you can add it up. 200, 250, 260, 265, 271. Now, a woman is pregnant 9 months. And the next day, baby. You see the level we're playing on here? That God is this infinite, that he weaves the numbers in, the meanings, and the pronunciation. Even from the very beginning. What would you put down here? Can you read this word?
Oh, you guys know this one.
Aleph Beit. What is it? Abba. Abba means father, right? Remember, Aleph is strength. Beit is house. Strength of the house is the father. The reason I'm showing you this one, there you can pronounce it. Remember, Hebrew reads this way. You can pronounce it, Abba. You can define it, strength of the house, and those little gematria values. Aleph is 1, Beit is 2. The word Abba adds up to, he's a trinity. He weaves that into his. That's the easiest maybe of all these examples. This is a little bit more complicated, but pretty cool, no? All right. So are we going to go with this?
It's up to you. We can stick on this side of things and then do this one tomorrow.
Okay.
It's up to you.
All right. Bring the other board here. Oh, wait, this is up here for a minute if you want to look at it. Okay. This is going to be kind of short because they didn't have to get this thing hooked up. But here's another very cool thing that God puts in the Bible. You know, I talk to atheists at times, and atheists, for people who don't believe the Bible, they love to read the Bible and find mistakes in it that they call mistakes. I say God wrote it. He steered the hand of every letter. There cannot be a mistake in the Bible. Now, there can be a mistake in the translation that you're reading, right? King James, NIV. What do you use here? New American Standard, Dewey Reams. Man is translated. That's why I want to go back to the original. Let's see what God actually gave us. Makes sense, right? Okay. Well, um, actually, this one I actually have one it's already. How do we make this?
There. Good Lord.
Okay. You know, when the Jews they were in captive in Egypt. Remember this much? Okay? And Moses brings them out of Egypt. They go through the Red Sea, and now they're wandering in the wilderness for 40 years. And while they're wandering, God tells them, I want you to build me a temporary house, a tabernacle. Okay? So they're out in the wilderness, and he tells them how to build it. I want the tabernacle here in the center. I want so many tribes camped here, somebody here, somebody here, somebody here. And they're supposed to camp in this east, west, north, and south of the tabernacle. The actual tabernacle was this. It was a big fenced-in area, fence meaning a cloth hanging there. There was only one way in and out. One way in and out, that's a picture of how to get to heaven. Yeshua is Jesus' name in Hebrew. Yeshua is the one way to heaven, you understand? He said, I am the way, the truth, and the life. No man comes to the Father but through me. So, there's one way into the tabernacle. When you went into the tabernacle, the first thing you experienced, and by the way, you couldn't have gone into the tabernacle. I don't go into the tabernacle. This is the priests do this for the people. Okay? The first thing you have here is the altar where you're going to do your animal sacrifice. Right? Because you have to have the blood. God wants to see blood. The next thing that was here was what was called a laver. A laver, it was a big round pool made out of metal or something, okay? And this is where the priest would bathe before he went into the actual tabernacle. Then you actually had the tabernacle. Here you had a menorah. You know the menorah, right? That's the menorah. Here you had a table of showbread. Here there was a veil, a little altar right here of incense. And then inside here was the Ark of the Covenant. Are you familiar with these terms? Well, good. Now, only once a year could the high priest, go into the tabernacle behind here, and he would sprinkle blood on the mercy seat. Okay? Maybe you've... what's the time? It's going to ring at what time? Okay. Yeah. Okay. This is what I want to focus on, the laver. Because this is what atheists love to bring up, this verse. This is in Kings 7:23. And it says, and he, Hiram, that's who they're talking about, this guy named Hiram. Hiram made a molten sea. That's what they're calling the laver, a molten sea. It's 10 cubits from one brim to the other. I don't have to yell anymore. It's 10 cubits from one brim to the other. It was round all about. Its height was 5 cubits, and a line of 30 cubits did compass it round about. Okay, well, I got a problem. I was a math teacher for 11 years, so I got a problem with this verse. Anybody know what the problem is? Here's the laver. Not bad. Okay, it was 10 cubits from one brim to the other. So that means from here to here, 10. What is that called in a circle?
Diameter.
The diameter. Very nice. What else does it say? It says it was had a height of 5 cubits. Well, this is going to kind of look like this. You understand? It was a freestanding, and so it was 5 cubits high. I'm not worried about the height right now. I am concerned about, it says, and a line of 30 cubits did compass around it. There is no Hebrew word for circumference. Okay, so they don't have a word for circumference. But what is he saying? There is a line of 30 cubits did compass around it. He's talking about the circumference. Okay, so the circumference is 30. Any problems, math people? Yes. Exactly. Pi. Remember old pi? The formula was circumference equals 2 pi r. Well, our r is 5, right? You can rewrite this as pi d. Is that beyond anybody here? You get that, right? Pi times the diameter. That's just a law. You can't get around that one, right? It's just every circle follows that formula. Well, here we got a problem. The problem is if the diameter is 10, times pi, and what do we know pi is? 3.14159267. Right? It goes on and on. And it never ends and it never repeats. Okay? So if I took pi is 3.14 times 10, the distance around should be 31.4541. You understand? So why did God say it's 30? It can't be 30. If he was estimating, God would have estimated at 31. Right? And I don't know how many atheists, they love to bring this one up. Okay? So how do you combat them? You ready? This is good. Okay, we'll just go to the next slide. Oh, by the way, here is this verse. Remember the letter Vav? The Vav is a nail. And what do nails do? Nails connect things. So anytime you see a Vav, it means and. All right? Is this board in your way? Better? So, here it says, and a line of 30. So here is and, is the Vav. And here's the word for line. It's a kuf, a vav, and a hey, kavav. The problem is, that word is misspelled. Now we got two problems. The math doesn't work out, and God has misspelled a word. It's getting worse and worse. And we only got 5 minutes left. Everywhere in the Bible, that's how you spell the word line. Kuf, vav. But in this verse, he spells it kuf, vav. And what letter does he put here?
Hey.
Hey! What does hey tell you? Something's going to be revealed. There's something special, a revelation, a blessing, and something's coming. So of all the verses in the Bible that have the word kev, line, this verse is misspelled. He spells it kavah. So that should be a flag. Anytime you see a hey, picture a flag. Got it? So now, remember the gematria values? The gematria values, every letter has a number. Okay? Well, the Hebrew word for line is kev, kuf, vav. It adds up to 106. That's how it should be. But this verse, it has an extra hey on the end. It adds up to 111. You got it? Okay. We already told you, hey, behold, revelation, something's coming. Okay. If we take the circumference of 30 and we're going to multiply it by 111, 111, remember, is the misspelled kavah, and we're going to make it a ratio, kavah over kev, how it's spelled and how it's supposed to be spelled. So you got this, I guess you have a phone here, you can, a calculator. If you multiply 30 times 111 and then divide by 106, is anybody doing that? What do you got? It comes out to pi times 10. Is that cool? It's like a double cool because he put the wrong number in and he misspelled the word, but he misspelled it with a letter that alerts us to the fact, hey, that's what a hey is, right? Okay. We got, what, 3 minutes. Any questions? Yes?
How do you figure all this out?
I come out of the womb knowing it. No, you know what? I get up at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning, and I go to bed at 10 or midnight, at least, and I just scour internet for rabbinical writings that rabbis have discovered. The Jews actually discovered a lot of this. This has nothing to do with Jesus, so they got no problem putting this out, you know. And I just, whatever topic I'm discussing, I Google it, and then I just read and watch every video and everything on it, and I, ooh, that's clever. And then I do the math to make sure it works before I preach it.
Was every book in the Bible originally written in Hebrew?
No, the Old Testament is Hebrew, except for one chapter of Daniel. In one chapter of Daniel, it's written in Aramaic. The New Testament was written in Greek. Okay? And by the way, Greek, I think I have a picture here. Greek also has these values, these gematria values. Here's a good example of that. Here's the book of Revelation, right? And the word in Hebrew or Greek, we say Revelation in English, but the name of the book is the Apocalypsis. You may have heard of the apocalypse, right? End of the world, kind of. Okay, there it is, Apocalypsis. And if you put the values in, Greek also has values for the letters. Adds up to 1512. Well, 1512 is divisible by 7. Apparently, if you've watched my videos, 7, you know, 7, that's God's perfection. He left us a whole bunch of 7s so that we would know it's His perfection. When He created the Creator Week, He put 7 days in the week. Not 6, not 8. No one has ever changed it. It's always been 7. People have tried to change it. France tried to do a 10-day week once. It didn't work. 7, it's God's fingerprint. He put 7 colors in a rainbow, right? Man had nothing to do with that. There are 7 notes on the music scale. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti. Do, that's a new octave, right? But there's 7 in the scale. You have 7 holes in your head. Okay, so this is a fingerprint. So he puts apocalypsis is 7 times 216, which is clever that he wove 7 into it. But you know what's even more clever? Is 216 is 6 times 6 times 6. And who shows up in the apocalypse? Antichrist, right? So it's all by design, and it's just designed to fit perfectly together. So I'm sorry we're a little bit short today, but
Well, can we thank him for being here? So tomorrow we'll do the same thing, and he'll have the full presentation. I'm sorry that took so long to get together today. But if you would, tomorrow kind of come with another question you might have. And then tonight I put an RSVP on that long note that I sent you on Friday. I'm sorry. But if you want to come to Moe's tonight, and it's just kind of more just one-on-one, just RSVP to that link, please, okay? All right, thank you guys.